We're super excited to be in Delhi, India, and this video is going to be all about some crazy good street food.
We've got a bunch of street food gems lined up to share with you.
Delhi throbs with a relentless energy. It's steeped in history, beautifully chaotic, and a wonderland for people who love to eat. This is our first video from Delhi, and we're eating some of the city's tastiest food in Old Delhi. Old Delhi is the heart and soul of the city, a place where you can eat unique street food from stalls which date back hundreds of years. We join the crowds jostling to nab a bowl of nihari, a meat stew from a legendary stall that is open only 1 hour a day. The stall is utter pandemonium and one of the most exhilarating we have ever filmed. We eat piping hot parathas, deep fried stuffed bread from a 6th generation family shop, and stop for jalebi, a sweet sensation of deep fried batter soaked in sugar syrup. We devour a rare Delhi treat, whisked milk foam, cooled by the morning dew, and only found on pushcarts in the old city during winter time. In this India series, we'll show you some of the country's best food, from iconic street food in the south of India to recipes dating back centuries. You don't want to miss this series. Get ready for some mouth-watering food.
I'm Thomas.
And I'm Sheena, and we're chasing a plate.
We hope you're hungry. Let's eat. Today's video is going to be set in the heart of Old Delhi. So this is where the real hustle and bustle of Delhi is. Lots of little laneways. It's a great place with a ton of street food. So we've got a lineup of incredible Indian street food to show you today. We're just heading up into this first little laneway here.
This particular alley has a number of shops which specialise in parathas, and parathas are a deep fried bread. The ones that they serve at these shops here are stuffed with all sorts of fillings. Now there are something like 6 or 7 different paratha shops, but we've come to this one right here because they're super popular with the locals, very famous, have been here for a really long time. And I can already see with the menu there's a number of different fillings that we can choose for our parathas, so let's go and eat. The cooking is happening right on the street. So this guy here is deep frying the paratha. They're golden and crispy. Hi, namaste. And then that guy there is rolling the paratha out. I can see there's a ton of different types of fillings which go into the paratha. There's sweet ones, there's savory ones. I spy one with cheese, so I think we're gonna go for that. Wow, smells beautiful. Oh, dhanyavad. So we've just grabbed a seat. This is a great spot. It's packed out, packed with people, very tight quarters, shoulder to shoulder with other diners. Our parathas have arrived. They look super golden and crispy, and the guys are literally just in front of me here, rolling out the dough for the parathas and then sticking them straight into that a little fry pan filled with hot oil, and all of the ingredients are lined up. It's a very compact sort of cooking area, and they're going at a furious pace. Now the parathas, so there's a ton of different fillings that you can order. I went for cottage cheese, so you get 2 per plate, and then together with your parathas you get some chutney, so some green chutney that's probably a coriander mint. Oh, very tangy. And then you've got a pea and potato curry there. This I think is sweet because I can see some banana in there, and then some vegetables on the side. So look at this golden crispy disc of paratha, and it is very hot to the touch. I want to tear it open and let's see what's inside. Wow, yes. So it's very light in fact, and it's filled with that cottage cheese. So not a whole heap of cottage cheese in there, but enough, and it's mixed in with a lot of spices. I can see fennel seeds and whatnot. So let's just rip a bit of that off. That is so fluffy and crispy. Might just dunk it in this potato and pea curry. All right, let's get a taste of it. Mmm. Oh, that's good. Oh, wow. The paratha is so light and fluffy. You've got a whole lot of cheese in there, but just enough so that you get a small hit of cheese. Tons of spices, so there's chili, there's fennel seeds, and they sort of pop in your mouth. I can see why it is so popular because these are fantastic. I want to dunk this piece into that vibrant chutney. Look at the color of that. It's just insane. Super beautiful and vibrant. All right, I've soaked it in that chutney. Very spicy chutney. A huge hit of coriander. Wow. Oh, it really lifts the bread. It cuts through the richness of the paratha. This is just so crunchy and light. Absolutely beautiful. All right, so my paratha is rapidly disappearing, so I've got one more mouthful here. I'm going to grab some of this vegetable. I think it's a pumpkin actually, so a spiced pumpkin dish. Oh. Holy moly, that's good. It was a spiced pumpkin dish, but it's also a little bit sweet and quite tangy. And the pumpkin is very creamy. Sensational.
Just making our way on foot to our next stop, and I love being in amongst the laneways here in Old Delhi. So there's a lot of people, but by Indian standards it's actually very peaceful, so there's no honking like you often get on the streets here because there's no cars. The only real cars are like little bikes that are riding people around with people on the back. It's a really peaceful environment, even though it's really crammed in. Buildings are towering over you, got cables all above you, guys carrying stuff on their heads, and here's one of these bikes coming through that I spoke of. Whoa, it took me out the bike. It's just a really neat environment to be on, but time for more food.
I'm so stoked that we're in Delhi during winter time because it means that we can sample a real Delhi winter special. It's something called Dal Lat Ki Chat, and it is a sweet that's only served during the winter because it is cooled naturally overnight, and it's essentially a whisked milk foam. We've actually just bumped into the vendor that we wanted to find, and I can see it right there. Looks so good. Namaste. So he's got his big pot of Dal Lat Ki Chat in front of him, and it looks so light and fluffy. So it's whisked milk foam that's cooled overnight. It's actually a rather romantic thing. It's supposed to be cooled by the evening dew. Yes, one please. Look how light and fluffy it looks. He's just scraped a bit off from the big pile of it, and he's mixing bits and pieces up into it and then popping it into this clay pot. Wow, swadisht. Whoa, so light and fluffy. Dhanyavad. Whoa, look at that.
I am so happy we found and can have this dessert. So it's very special to have this. So only in winter, only in Old Delhi, and only on these little carts. So it's very neat that we're here at the right time of year to be able to have this. And what is an incredibly unique dessert. Look how fluffy it is. I can't tell you how light this is. This almost feels like it's empty. If I had my eyes shut, I would think that this was empty. It's so light, so aerated. So they cream and milk and then let it cool and they whip it, and that is just how it's got so much air in it. And then when he was making it, he scraped it off his giant pile that he's got there on his cart. So that really big pile on the cart, and he just was easily able to scrape it down. But then he mixed in a lot of sugar. So there was a lot of sugar in layers in here. And then the yellow on top is it's the same as the white, except that's got saffron in it to give it that beautiful yellow color. You can see some little flecks of pistachio on top of that. And then these, I think they're pretty much a sort of a crushed biscuit. So it looks just like a little sort of plain biscuit. Wow, that is fluffy. Oh my God. That is truly delicious. Oh, I can't stop. Oh, it's so light. A very mild dairy flavor, so a little bit of creaminess. It is very sweet, so you put a lot of sugar in there. It's just crazy, look at that. Oh, it's so fluffy. Oh my God. That is unreal. Oh, and he's layered it up as well. So he's got that saffron layer, all the way down through it. I'm so glad we got this giant one. Very special, very unique dessert. Gosh, that is so good. The texture is like a very light pavlova. If you've ever had pavlova, a very classic New Zealand dessert. We're from New Zealand, so a consistency we're very used to. And wow, that is good. It's super refreshing as well. Yum.
What I love about Old Delhi is that you can eat at a number of heritage street stalls or restaurants. So like that first place that we went to, the Paratha spot, 6 generations have been around since the 1800s. This next spot, which there are tons of people crowded around, is famous for jalebis. They've been around since 1884. Jalebis are a very popular sweet here in India. And see, they're cooking them up right now. Look at this. So these are the jalebis, which are made up of a flour batter. They get piped into hot oil, and now they're just being deep fried, and then they'll get chucked into this big pan of sugar syrup. They look fantastic. Swadish. We're going to order some jalebis, but this stall is also a specialist in one other snack, which we'll eat after the jalebis. It's something that the locals say you have to order when you're here. Dhanyavad. Wow, this jalebi is fresh as. Let's head over here and eat it. So it came straight out of that hot oil, straight into that hot sugar syrup, and then whisked out and popped into the window. And we found a quiet little spot to enjoy our jalebi. There are so many people in this area, flooding past, people with stuff on their heads. It's a great atmosphere. Now jalebi, so what is it? It's a flour batter which is piped into that hot oil and then chucked into a sugar syrup. And it's very simple, but it's a very popular sweet. Now look at that. It's pretty impressive. That sugar syrup is just falling off it. Look at that. Wow. Right. Oh, if you have a sweet tooth, this is what you should be eating. It's very sweet. When you bite into that deep fried batter, it explodes with sugar syrup. Very crunchy. Crunchy, sweet, warm from having just come out of the oil. Oh, this is good. We've eaten the jalebi, now it's time to order that undercover street food that they're secretly famous for. So it's samosas. So we're gonna get a potato one and a pea one.
We've got the samosas that all the locals are saying you have to get here. So what's really interesting about this is you will see it in a lot of videos. So we're not pretending that we've sort of discovered an undercover street food gem here. This is very well known, but for very good reasons. Those jalebi are unreal. They're so good. And the fact it's called Old Famous Jalebi Wala makes it pretty clear what they're specialized in. But they also specialize in these samosas, and so all the locals are telling us to get these, and we're pretty sure this is not what you're seeing in a lot of YouTube videos. You're seeing those jalebis, not these. Oh, wow, that is such a good samosa. So a samosa is just a stuffed pastry, deep fried. We got two, one pea, one potato. This is the pea one. And it is absolutely chockers with peas. Look at that. Stuffed, and it's super dry. There's zero oil coming off those. And chucking in this coriander chutney. Absolute burst of flavor. Now I'll try this potato one. You can see that's coated in the coriander chutney. Oh, very good. So dry again, a lot of potato, beautifully spiced, a nice amount of chili, and that coriander chutney just really freshens it up, a very strong burst of coriander. So definitely get both dishes here. Oh, I'm so glad we've had both. We're now heading on foot to another area of Old Delhi, and this area is definitely crazy. So we're back into the honking, there's traffic now, so it is super full on, and this is what it's all about to me. To come to India, you've got to experience this. It is just incredible for all your senses, all at the same time, taking it all in. And the smells here, because this place is lined with food. Every stall almost is food. And my God, it smells good. But the place we're heading is a little bit further up the road.
I'm pumped about this next spot. It's special for a couple of reasons. One, it's only open for 1 hour each day. And two, they specialize in a dish called nihari, one of my favorite things to eat when we're in India. It's a meat stew. And oh my gosh, I think this is the spot right here. It is crammed with people. It's chaos. It is packed. So I think all we're going to do is just join the fray. This place has been here since the 80s, and they're famous for their nihari. So they start serving at 5:15. It's literally just gone 5:15, and there's about 50 guys lining up. There's no queue or anything. Everyone's just sort of pushing forward and hoping to be able to put their order in. Everyone's waving their money in their hands. I'm hoping I can sort of worm my way through. It is pandemonium. I'm pressed up against everyone. I was actually pretty lucky. I managed to catch the eye of the guy who's serving things up. Oh, Charan. And he was, oh, Charan. And he was able to grab my order. So I literally only had to wait for a couple of minutes. This shop is wild. They're only open for 1 hour a day, which is why there's so many people. I was right up in there. I was completely surrounded by guys who were trying to get their order, and there's no queue system at all. So you just got to get in there and get your order in. And I was actually pretty lucky because I caught the eye of the main guy who was taking all the orders, and he saw me with clutching my rupees, and he fixed me up. So thank God, because I did not want to miss out on that. There are still a ton of people lining up, and it's such an exciting little shop. So they serve this, the nihari, and essentially it is a meat stew. In this case, it's buffalo meat. They start cooking from 7 a.m. and they cook it low and slow. So the buffalo, 50 kilos of it is cooked with chili and then a spice mix of 20 different spices. For about 10 hours, and that's when it's finished cooking, they bring it to the shop and they serve it up. Now at the back of the shop there, they're actually making fresh bread, so fresh kamiri roti. So I've got a couple of the kamiri roti to go with my nihari. I'm going to pop the nihari down and then open up this little packet of roti that I've got. Wow! It's piping hot, and look how fluffy and puffy it is. So it feels very light. So 2 of those. So I'm gonna rip it up. Look at that. So it's a leavened flatbread that's cooked in the clay earthen oven. So like a tandoor. So alright, so let's get into this nihari before it gets cold. So you can see here this thick puddle of oil on the top. It is swimming in oil, and then they've sprinkled some julienne ginger and also some green chili in there. Look at that. Oh my goodness, look at that. All right, oh my gosh, I'm barely prodding the meat with the roti and it is just falling apart. This is going to be real good, I reckon. Okay, so I've got, whoa, oh my gosh, just look at that. That is crazy. Look at that meat. It is so tender. All right. Oh, holy moly, that is good. Oh wow, the meat is so tender. It melts in your mouth. I got a really gelatinous bit in that bite and it just collapsed in my mouth. The roti is perfect with it. It's very light and pillowy. Oh my goodness. This is amazing. The gravy that it's cooked in is very rich, full of spice, quite spicy and chili heat, and even more so with those green chilies. It is a very rich dish, this nihari. You can see how much oil is in the dish, but man alive, it is so worth it for the taste. Oh man, the meat, it is sensational. I got all over my face. I can see why it is so busy. This dish is crazy good. This shop has a very special heritage as well. So it is a third generation nihari recipe passed down from grandfather to father to the son who is now running it. And it is a local legend. You can see how loyal the local following is. It is just packed out with people. And this is a pretty special place to be eating this nihari. So we're deep in the heart of the laneways around here. There's constant traffic moving past. Hi! Kids watching us get into the food. Oh, it's amazing.
We're just heading up into this first little laneway here. Oops, it's the wrong one.